What are your thoughts when looking at memes and sort of managing your positions whenever invested? Like, what is it that you would look for in terms of how to get out, or would you look to invest and then is there any sort of like break even sort of strategy that you would go for? Because I know a
I'm
lot of
big on
people just
memes.
hold.
I'm big on memes. So one is if you're just reading something on Twitter and you buy it, you're not investing, you're gambling, and you're depending on somebody else to make you money. 95% of the time, you're going to lose it because you don't understand the thesis or the analysis that the other person has done. You're just trusting them. Now, there's people out there that have good track records. Okay, look at what they're saying, but don't just take it. Do your own research. What is your own research in a very practical way? Specifically in crypto, what do you bet on? One, winning teams, right? So you bet on winning teams. Who's the CMO? What's their strategy in order to acquire new eyeballs? Because that's what matters in meme culture, is about who can acquire the attention. Now you begin to see kind of narrative swarm. You saw Pepe kind of take off. Okay, and then I was like, okay, Pepe took off and it took off on the Ethereum chain. And then you started hearing something about the lines of something called the Boys Club. And you're like, okay, what's the Boys Club? Oh, well, Pepe, the character that everybody knows, he's part of this comic book thing. It's called the Boys Club. I'm like, okay, well, there's other characters to that in that thing as well. And then I see a meme pop up on Base Chain called Brett, and I look at the character and I'm like, okay, this thing's at $1 billion market cap. Okay, this is the second character of this thing. So I'm like, okay, what are these meme guys doing? Then I go to Solana and there's the third one, which is called Wolf. And then I'm like, okay, so these guys are building a narrative. So I catch on to the narrative and I start buying. And the market starts performing in that direction because the narrative makes sense. The narrative is, hey, Pepe took off, therefore the other ones are going to take off as well because they're part of the same idea. Enough people are believing into this concept and the performance is doing extremely well. Number one. Number two is their ability to list on exchanges and their ability to access liquidity. The higher risk is incurred in the beginning when you're buying something off of your DEX screener, your DEX tools, that is like day one, day two, day three. But once something gets listed on an exchange, let's say Bybit or KuCoin, even some meme coins eventually end up on Binance, that's the end of the cycle for the most part. Who's left to buy, right? So once you get onto the exchange, even in crypto in general, you need to understand that the returns are not going to be the same as the space that's operating inside of the DeFi ecosystem. So if you're looking at Robinhood, right, and you're buying Doge thinking that you're part of the meme culture, well, Doge, yes, is obviously OG meme, but it's no longer going to give you the same multiples in the same plays that it used to the last bull run. Dogecoin has kind of hit that category where it's kind of become accepted as money. Like if I was to ask you, hey, right now I'll give you 10,000 pounds, would you save it in Zimbabwe dollars or in Doge? In Doge. So which one's more real money? You know what I mean? The world's fucking crazy. So once you ask yourself that question and you answer that, and you're like, you know what? I prefer holding Dogecoin, and some of my Argentina team members, I'll pay them in Bitcoin and they'll hold Bitcoin instead of holding the Argentine peso. Which one's the actual meme coin? Like which one's the shit coin? Like you begin to evaluate what are all the categories of a shit coin. The fiat system represents all of them. You don't know who the fucking dev is. The dev can print infinite supply. The dev can rug you. The dev can take your tokens. The dev can freeze your supply. And they can tell you where to and where not to transact. I don't want that currency. That currency's shit. If that had a different token instead of US dollar, had a different name, nobody would buy it.
Yeah.
And, oh yeah, I buy it and then more of it gets printed and then that gets dispersed and therefore my shit's worth less. That's what the meme coin is. That's the joke. So once you break from the illusion of, oh, meme coin this, meme coin that, dude, go to the penny stock market. Half of those companies are fucking memes. They're a joke. Biotech this, biotech that. Bro, it's a couple news articles in a shack in the middle of the woods. You don't think so? Okay, go watch The Wolf of Wall Street again, dude. It's a crazy environment out there. And now what you're seeing is meme coins being a true form of this idea of people wanting to make fast money. But now it's not this garbage illusion of whether this company's real or not real, fake revenues. No, there's a meme coin, and whether culture adopts it or not, it's your gamble and it's your play. But it's, to me, the most honest part of all of crypto.